You might be swimming in cash, yet feel utterly bankrupt inside. You might have a degree hanging on your wall, but still struggle to grasp your own existence. You might project an image of strength while secretly feeling utterly lost. And the most astonishing part, all of that can shift in a heartbeat. Yes, in the blink of an eye. The key? You've never truly understood how your own mind works. For years, I couldn't explain the dramatic upheaval in my own life. I went from scraping by, perpetually broke, to earning over $1 million annually. No fancy education, no strategic plan, no clear explanation. Something had undeniably changed. But what? Why? How? I spent 9 years researching, studying, desperately trying to decipher the mystery. It wasn't luck. It wasn't sheer grit. Then, during a chance encounter in Vancouver, a man said something that shattered my preconceptions. You're trying to change your results without understanding their root causes. That's when it all clicked. He revealed a simple yet profound truth. Your external reality is a mirror reflecting your internal world. This internal reflection, your paradigm, dictates your actions, decisions, and ultimately, your consequences. It's like a hidden program running in the background, directing your every move. Have you ever considered that? How many times have you tried to overhaul your life, launched a project, set ambitious goals, only to end up right back where you started? You begin with fire and passion, only to fall back into the same old rut. It feels like an invisible force is dragging you back to your comfort zone, your default setting. Been there? That's where understanding your paradigm becomes crucial. What is a paradigm? It's a deeply ingrained set of beliefs and habits embedded in your subconscious, often before you were even born. It forms your internal map, dictating what you believe is possible, how much you think you deserve, and how you approach money, love, health, and work. The problem is, most people are completely unaware of its existence. They believe they have free will, but they're trapped in an invisible system that controls how they think, feel, and act. And here's the kicker. You might fill your head with positive affirmations. I want to prosper, I want to improve, I'm going to get out of debt. But if your subconscious is programmed for scarcity, failure, or mere survival, you'll sabotage yourself every time. That's why so many people study, read self-help books, binge motivational videos, yet remain perpetually in debt, anxious and directionless. That was my reality for a long time. My bookshelves overflowed. I devoured audio programs and attended countless seminars. Yet I couldn't seem to translate my own success into helping others. I knew something deeper, some invisible architecture was at play. Then it hit me. What transformed my life wasn't just the knowledge I absorbed, but the emotional impact it had. I started seeing myself differently. I saw myself as capable. I saw myself as wealthy. I saw myself as free. And most importantly, I felt it as truth. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. It accepts whatever you repeat with genuine emotion. That's why so many fail without understanding why. They nurture internal images of failure, scarcity, and self-worthlessness. They say they want change, but their self-image remains limited, small, and burdened by debt. And guess what? Their subconscious accepts that as reality and delivers the corresponding results. Yale University studies show that most daily decisions are automatic, based on unconscious patterns. Unless these patterns are updated, you can change jobs, cities, even partners, and still face the same challenges. I remember a moment before I hit my first million cleaning bar restrooms at night to supplement my firefighter income. Kneeling there, scrubbing a grimy toilet at 3 a.m., I suddenly stopped, leaned against the wall and said, "Bob, you weren't born for this." It wasn't just a phrase, it was a visceral decision. An image flashed before my eyes. Me, traveling, speaking, helping others. I didn't know how it would happen, but in that instant it felt real. My consciousness leaped forward. You might be at that point now, tired, in debt, discouraged, feeling stuck in a repetitive cycle. But if you pause, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and create a vivid new image of who you want to be, and repeat it with unwavering emotion every day, something will start to shift. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Your external reality mirrors your internal world. Want to change the mirror? Change the observer, that's the key, and it's just the beginning. You might think your biggest problem is a lack of money. You might believe that more money would solve everything. Debts would vanish, anxiety would melt away, your life would transform. But let me tell you something that might challenge everything you've learned. Money isn't the problem. It never was. A lack of money is merely a symptom. Like a fever is a symptom of infection. You can take medicine for the fever, but if you don't treat the underlying infection, it returns, always. The mistake almost everyone makes is trying to fix the financial problem by directly manipulating money. They cut expenses, work overtime, rush into ill-conceived businesses, take out loans, sell off possessions, and after a few months, they're back where they started. Sound familiar? Ever feel like extra money just slips through your fingers? Ever told yourself, when I make more money, everything will get better, only to find yourself in a worse position when you finally do? That's not coincidence. It happens because your income level is aligned with your subconscious financial paradigm. Until that paradigm shifts, any attempt to increase your income will be sabotaged by your own behavior. Not by bad luck, not by external forces, but by a mental program keeping you in place. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. Brilliant people, brimming with potential, even achieve a financial breakthrough, only to lose it all within months. Back to square one. Why? Because their internal image of themselves is still tethered to scarcity. They don't see themselves as capable of generating, maintaining, and multiplying wealth. What isn't sustainable internally won't be sustainable externally. That's precisely what happened to Mike Tyson. He earned over $500 million during his career, one of the highest-paid athletes in history. But the money wasn't enough to shore up his internal instability. He didn't rebuild his self-image. He didn't reprogram his relationship with value, worthiness, and abundance. And in the end, it all vanished. Not because he didn't earn enough, because he never learned to be rich from the inside out. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I've never earned that much. How can I think like someone rich with so little? The answer is, you don't need more money to think like a wealthy person. You need to change your beliefs about money. Understand that money is a consequence, an effect, not a cause, a direct reflection of your mental and emotional vibration. If you vibrate at the frequency of scarcity, doubt, and fear, that's what you attract, without even realizing it. I'm not talking about magic or superstition. I'm talking about something proven by neuroscience. Your brain creates mental shortcuts based on your deepest beliefs. This directly influences your financial decisions, from impulsive small purchases to disastrous large investments. So without knowing it, you're sabotaging yourself. You earn extra money, but an unexpected problem arises. You save for months, and just as you're about to achieve a dream, something derails you. You start a new project full of enthusiasm and lose momentum, focus, and drive. Then comes the self-defeating thought, maybe I'm not good enough. But the truth is, you don't have a problem with money. You have a conflict with what you believe about yourself, because you don't go beyond what you believe you deserve. I remember a day while working as a firefighter in Toronto. In the locker room, changing after a grueling shift, a colleague remarked, "Bob, you always seem so ambitious, but look at us, this is what we have. There's no way out." It shook me. For a moment, I believed him. For a moment, I thought I was dreaming too big. But that same day, alone in my small apartment, I opened Think and Grow Rich for the 5th or 6th time and read a sentence I've never forgotten. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That night, something shifted within me. Not my salary, not my job, my frequency. I decided to stop treating the lack of money as the main problem. I would treat the cause. I would work on my self-image, my mindset, my programming. And when I did, the money started flowing. At first, slowly, then powerfully. Today, I invite you to do the same. Stop chasing the effect. Go to the source. Observe what you think and feel when you see your bank account. See how you react when you see someone prospering. Notice the words you use when talking about money. All of this reveals what's imprinted on your subconscious. And until that impression changes, the results won't change either. But if you dare to look within and change the root, then get ready. Because the life you dream of isn't a prize, it's a consequence. And it can start arriving as soon as you change the frequency you're emitting now. Most people live their entire lives without understanding how their thoughts, feelings, and actions truly work. And because they don't understand, they try to change their results with brute force, as if the key to transformation lies solely in working harder or trying more intensely. But the truth is, it's not the amount of effort that transforms your life. It's the alignment between your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and your actions. And that, when truly understood, changes everything, quickly and surprisingly. You think with your conscious mind. It's what you use to choose, reason, and make decisions. But it's your subconscious mind that executes, and it doesn't respond to logic. It responds to emotion. If you truly want to change your reality, you need to learn to align what you think with what you feel and what you do. Imagine you want to start a new business. You think, I want financial freedom. Great. Your conscious mind is clear about the goal, but internally, something feels fear, doubt, insecurity. The image you carry in your subconscious is still that of someone who will fail, who can't do it, who isn't good enough. And when that emotion isn't aligned with the thought, do you know what happens? Nothing. Or worse, you start, but sabotage the process halfway through. The subconscious mind is like fertile soil. If you plant a seed with conviction, emotion, and repetition, it germinates. But if you plant it with doubt, fear, or distraction, it won't develop. I had to learn this the hard way. For years, I had ideas. I made plans, created lists, promised to change. But a week later, I was in the same spot. Until I understood that the problem wasn't my conscious mind. It was that my feelings didn't align with my thoughts. It was like trying to drive with your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. That's when I discovered a simple yet incredibly powerful technique. And I want to share how it works, step by step. Because when you apply it daily, your frequency begins to shift. Your thoughts cease being fleeting ideas and become clear commands for your subconscious. First, create a very clear mental image of what you want. Visualize it as if you're already living it now. See the details, feel the colors, hear the sounds, perceive the emotion of accomplishment. This isn't fantasy, it's neurological programming. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined when you visualize with intense emotion. Neuroscientists like Andrew Huberman at Stanford University have shown in recent studies that creative visualization activates the same brain areas as real-life experience. Then repeat this image frequently. I recommend twice a day, when you wake up, when your mind is most receptive, and at night, before you sleep, when your subconscious is most open to absorbing. During this process, inject emotion. Imagine how you would feel if it were already real. Feel the joy, the relief, the security, the gratitude. Because it's this feeling that communicates with your subconscious mind, not just the words. And then, act. But not just any action. Act like someone who's already moving in that direction. Don't wait to feel ready to begin. Act in harmony with the image you've built. Small, consistent daily actions with emotional energy aligned with your goal. This changes your vibrational frequency, and you begin to notice opportunities that were previously invisible. People start appearing, doors open, new ideas emerge. It's as if the world responds to your new vibration. But it's not magic, it's science applied to the human mind. Once, I was at the airport returning from a seminar. I sat next to a visibly tired man. We started talking and he said, "I watch your videos. I try, but nothing changes." "Maybe it's not for me," I asked. "Do you visualize?" He said, "Yes, every day." Then I asked, "Do you feel as if it's already real?" He fell silent. In that moment, he understood, because most people repeat affirmations as if they were magic spells, but they don't put real emotion into it. They don't align what they say with what they feel, and if the feeling doesn't accompany the thought, the subconscious doesn't react. That's why you can say, "I am prosperous 100 times a day," but if you feel scarcity, guess who wins? The emotion. Now, I want to propose a challenge. Over the next 7 days, choose one goal, something you want to change or achieve. Write down this goal clearly. Every day when you wake up and before you sleep, visualize this result as if it were already reality. Put emotion into it. Smile. Feel the victory. And then take a step, any step. No matter how small, a phone call, a note, a recorded video. But do something every day, I promise. If you do this consistently, in just 1 week, you will notice subtle changes. You'll be more focused, more confident. You'll notice small coincidences, people saying things that motivate you, ideas emerging at unexpected moments. This isn't chance, it's alignment. You don't need to change everything at once. But if you change internally, the world will react to this new version of you. The technique is simple. The challenge is applying it. But if you commit, you might look back in a month and realize that your mind has awakened. And when the mind awakens, nothing remains the same. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. And, as strange as it may seem, you are not your emotions. You are something much bigger, much more subtle, much more powerful. You are consciousness, and the level of that consciousness determines what you perceive, attract, and create. Most people live a limited existence, not for lack of opportunity, intelligence, or talent, but because they are trapped in a narrow way of seeing the world. It's like living in a room with locked windows. They believe that the reality they see through that small opening is all there is, and they repeat patterns, emotions, and thoughts as if they were absolute truths without questioning their origin. But when you expand your consciousness, even just a little, everything changes. Because you begin to see what has always been there, but wasn't visible in your previous state. What you call a miracle, coincidence, luck, is nothing more than the natural result of a leap in consciousness. It's as if you start to see more pieces of life's puzzle, and suddenly what seemed impossible begins to make sense. Expanding consciousness isn't something mystical, unattainable, or reserved for monks on mountaintops. It's completely practical, and it starts with a single decision: questioning what you believe about yourself and the world. Do you believe it's difficult to make money? That you have to suffer to grow? That happiness is rare? That it only happens in brief moments? These beliefs are like filters, like blurry lenses that distort everything you see. When I started working with personal development, I met brilliant, creative, kind people, but completely emotionally and financially fragile. Not for lack of merit, but for an excess of limiting beliefs. And I would say, you are seeing life through the eyes of someone who still doesn't know who they are, because who you truly are has no fear, has no scarcity, has no rush. Who you truly are is connected to a superior intelligence, and that intelligence never fails. But to access it, you need to silence the noise. Slow down the automatic thoughts and observe yourself. Consciousness grows in silence, in the pause between one thought and the next. In that second, when you realize that you can choose a different response from the automatic reaction. And that's where true freedom begins. There's one experience I'll never forget. After a lecture, a man came up to me. His eyes were teary. He said he had come there by chance, without great expectations. But something I said made him remember his son, with whom he hadn't spoken in over a decade. In that moment, he said he saw everything clearly. He realized he was clinging to an old grievance, nurturing a version of himself that no longer made sense. He turned to me and said, "Bob, today you didn't save my mind, you saved my family." I was moved, not because it was about me, but because it was proof that a leap in consciousness can change everything. A new perception can rescue lost years. It can heal wounds. It can restore the sparkle in the eyes. Science proves this.